Unusual cleanliness in the refugee camp, a place where many people have heard news about, and what comes in one's thought is a high number of deaths that occur due to diarrhea, typhoid, and cholera that result from a dirty environment. These are the diseases that have killed a very big number of people living in the refugee camp due to extreme dirty environment. However, one of the refugee settlements in Uganda after a period of 3 years has made it a history to those people staying in the settlement. The settlement we are talking about is Nakivale Refugee Settlement. The news I am about to talk about now is about a special group in the history of the refugee settlement. This special group is called Refugee of Street Nakivale Volunteers. It is found in the settlement of Nakivale. I am Twishimire Elize Gakondo Classic Alliance Papaka. This planet that we are living in, we are about 7.95 billion people of the recent world census. As all of these people are in billions, we are living in about 195 countries worldwide, while 193 countries are members of the United Nations. Today, we shall talk about refugees. That's why knowing this other information is necessary in the documentary I'm about to talk about. Our planet is hosting about 36.4 million refugees, while 110 million people are displaced as of United Nations High Commission for Refugees Statistics. What could be the case of refugees here in Uganda, whose capital is Kampala, where you find ministry responsible for refugees and displaced people? Currently, Uganda has a population of about 46 million, where 780,000 people are refugees as of 2024 country population census. As I begin, I said we shall talk about a special group of refugees that came together to form Refugee of Street Nakivale Volunteers, but we kept talking about Nakivale. Would you be knowing where it is found? How big is it? When did it become a refugee camp? Where did its first refugees migrate from? Which people are now staying in it? And what is the population? Nakivale is found in southwest Uganda in Isinjiro district near Tanzania and Uganda border in 200 kilometers from Kampala, the capital, and it has a size of 185 square kilometers. Nakivale became a camp in 1958, and in 1960 it became a settlement, meaning where refugees are hosted for a long period of time. The first refugees were Rwandese refugees that freed in 1959. As of now, Nakivale is hosting 171,387 refugees as of 2022 refugee census. These refugees came from 7 countries, that is Burundi, DRC Congo, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Somali, Rwanda, and South Sudan. Here in Nakivale, it's where you find this special group known as Refugee of Street Nakivale Volunteers, where it implements its work of cleaning different areas in the settlement where many people meet, both simple, prestigious people. In other words, it's a team that fights any sign of dirt, and it also freed from any source of dirt. We kept talking about Refugee Street of Nakivale Volunteers. What is it in general? When did it start to exist? As it usually happens in everyday life, one day mothers were seated jazzing. Then the idea came in of creating a group that unites refugees of different nationalities, old and young, Christians and Muslims, and those without religion, so as to create love between them and fight segregation, racism that arise due to different nationalities, thus protecting the environment through general cleaning and planting trees. Without delaying, the idea was positively taken by many, and they started implementing and formed a group called Refugee of Street Nakivale Volunteers. It started on 22nd of June 2022 as it started testing its objectives and activities that it would do. After just 3 months in 2022, it was then given the rights through Office of the Prime Minister with other organizations that support refugees such as UNHCR, Alight, Police, MTI, RACI 3, Red Cross, Samizi, and TPO Uganda. Refugee of Street Nakivale Volunteers has leadership and leaders that lead the group. The chairman is Mr. Stephen Abihingoma, Vice Chairman Nyirinjeninga Esperance, Secretary Abdul, Security Leader Muhizi Isad. This group is comprised of 573 families, counting only the family heads. However, all those with their family members are 3,448 refugees from 7 countries, that is Burundi, Democratic Republic of Congo, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Rwanda, Somali, and South Sudan. As a journalist, I confirm that by research that was made worldwide, this group is among the 10 groups that brought together people from more than 7 different cultures and nationalities. I hope you understand that bringing people of different origin and countries need unusual energy and gift from God. At this moment, no new member is allowed to join the group, but instead, its members are motivated by their daily activities such as sweeping, that is done in the wide open lands with many trees, that requires one to be a volunteer at heart so that one is able to accomplish their work. Because when you reach such places after one day, you may think no one has been cleaning such places due to a lot of trees that shed leaves every minute, due to a lot of wind in these places, with even a lot of plastic bags from different places leading to continuous dirt. Let me show you places where this group of Refugee Street Nakivale volunteers implement their daily activities of sweeping and planting trees. This is Nakivale Police Station with Ruasi 3 Base Camp Office of Local Leadership that was designed by refugees themselves for governance. This is what I call undivided voluntary work, where no one expects any form of pay, either hourly, weekly, or monthly as other workers do to get paid. This work you see is done by old, young men, and ladies without hope of any payment. This is what we call voluntary because even the broom they use, it is from their own pockets without receiving any money. But look at the energy that they use and unity. Keep seeing the image. This is what we call refugees of Street Nakivale volunteers I keep talking about. This is Office of Chairman Ruasi 3 Base Camp together with Nakivale Police Station, where they wake up very early in the morning because if you said they are the ones that awaken the birds, you would not be lying. And they even leave their homes before the children are awake for school. They sacrifice themselves to do this work with no payment expected, and hope you can see how the place is too clean, where one can even slide down due to how clean the place is, and a very good place for one's eyes. This is Alight. This is an organization whose role is to take care of people with different problems. However, here in Uganda, its role is to follow up refugees' problems in different refugee settlements and people who are displaced due to natural disasters, famine, or due to pandemic diseases that may require people to be relocated from one area to the other, as Alight has 2 parts in base camp where it works from. This is the first office of Alight where they are cleaning. I hope you can see them without laziness. It's just hard work because it's what they set to accomplish, and it's something they say they have to leave the legacy to those that want to follow their footsteps and those that will come from them to get it as an example. I also talked about how they voluntarily leave their bed to come work to achieve the group objectives with no pay at all, but see how the place is really clean. In general, most people wake up in work that gives them money. However, refugees' life is very hard. As you know, each refugee is given $4 for a month support from World Food Program, which is really impossible to sustain their monthly expenses. However, as I told you, even the brooms, the spade, the hose, and the reflectors they put on when they are doing their work, it is personally financed to do the work that attracts no pay. This shows how voluntary work starts from accepting to volunteer mentally and physically so that one can achieve the purpose of the cause. Let's go to the second section of Alight. This is the signpost of Alight, and as we proceed, we can see one by one trying to clean using the broom as the biggest weapon to fight dirt. Planting trees is also what they are known for, as trees are a source of good life to human health environment. For example, trees help in rain formation, provide shade in dry season, and also provide oxygen to the surrounding environment. I hope you see they work to create a clean place. That is the reason why they decided to come together to build a clean environment, because our officers from different NGOs would hardly get a clean environment where they can comfortably work in without health issues due to the fact that even some live within our society. As we keep seeing, you can see the work of the group in different areas as an extraordinary work, a group that takes the lead in the world as one group that unites very many nationalities peacefully with people that grow from different cultures and background, but surprisingly have a common idea that makes them prosper and work together. This group is known for good words and wisdom that guides it. The fact that they are both national and international organizations which work within the boundaries of Uganda. This group refers to them as their parents. This is Nyarugugu Health Center 3 in the boundaries of the hospitals and staff quarters where they clean very early in the morning. Another thing to appreciate, no one can disorganize this group. As I've talked about the reflector uniform they put on when doing their work, no one sponsored them to get it, but rather it was attained through each person's sacrifice part of the money they get from the other source to purchase the reflector uniform, the broom, spade, and the hose. This means if they can get a Samaritan to support its activities, they are most welcome. Because I believe no one can underlook their actions unless if one is jealousy or wicked. Most people ask themselves how this group of vulnerable people can accomplish this kind of work perfectly. Yet those people who are paid for it cannot do it perfectly like them and committing to wake up so early to accomplish their work. This is the United Nations High Commission for Refugees Offices, Refugee Commandant Office, Nsamizi Office, and other NGO offices, as the Refugee of Street Nakivale volunteers term them as parents. I hope you can see the actions of Refugee of Street Nakivale volunteers. They are actions that speak for themselves, not those you hear from anyone, and when you ask them, they fail to present anything. Here the camera shows you everything, and me as a journalist, what this group is doing touched my heart, and I became the first one to say to the public, for whoever sees the good in this group, to come together and support their tiresome work as we raise our voices to reach far, so as they can also implement further projects in the future with such an ambition, because they deserve more than thanks, but instead provide something as a pay to appreciate their great work. Here we are showing is base camp, and it's where most of the NGO staffs together with commandant accommodates, and there are restaurants all here in Nakivale settlement, because the eye can also testify. This is not the only place. Let's also see the health center to Nyarugugu, where this group made history to have cleaned a place where many sick people and vulnerable people, and the doctors were very happy about our impact on the hospital sanitation. What I can say, this hospital is really big, and each section of this place needs cleanliness. Hope you can see the flowers, the trees, all these needs to be taken, as you can see, planted trees that will facilitate a good environment for the sick people, mostly in this hot weather where the shade will provide fresh air. All these are actions of the great Refugee of Street Nakivale volunteers, as you can keep seeing. Not only that, but also support each other in times of sorrow for those that have lost their loved ones, and give them comfort in such tragedies, as they also make some small contributions for them. Another thing, after every activity, they sit and make close meetings to evaluate their activities of the day, to know where to improve and what to add in case of any challenge faced during the activity, and appreciate what has been successfully accomplished. And it shows how this is a team of unity, because either old or young, all their thoughts are considered and heard for the development of the group, and this is something that should be spread in different refugee camps or even beyond boundaries of East Africa. As you can see the video showing members of the association with their chairman Abihingoma Stephen with his assistants beside their newly constructed house with different colors and pictures of it, where in front you can see brooms, flowers, spades and hose. This is not an office, but instead it's a house that shows history of the group and where they keep what they use. The house has a lot of equipment that signifies the group activities, as you can see the picture of this nation leader, the leaders of organizations and pictures of members. As you can see, the trees planted in front of the veranda are ones that were planted to be awarded to their parents. One being UNHCR, another one for police, another one Alight, and the other one for Office of the Prime Minister. As I conclude the activities of this group, I would like to pass the message to whoever is watching this video to support this group and put a lot of energy in this group to never decline, but instead succeed and shine beyond the refugee settlement to even the host community, because it also needs it just like us, as they don't have committed individuals united to carry out such an extraordinary activity in their communities like the way people in this group are committed and passionate about their work. It is me once again, Tuishimire Elizega Kondo, Classic Alliance Papa K, journalist from Extra Radio Media Solution, working from Nakivale Settlement.